All right, what we're gonna do real quick here is I am going to show you all how to set up your Notability journal. So if you don't know how to do a split screen on your iPad, that's another lesson altogether. It's pretty simple. I can show you that at a different time, but I've got mine set up in a split screen so I can see my presentation, which was loaded into Canvas for you. And so I can kind of scroll through that and also work on my Notability at the same time. So I've selected a new document in Notability. I would recommend making a ceramics folder for this class because we will do a Notability journal for every project. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our new journal, and we can change this from a note into the title of our project, which is sculptural flowers. And now I've got that actual title up there, which is a little bit better. And then my teacher told me I need 5 different topics. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my numbers in here. So I'm just super aware of my space and that I need 5 things in here. The next thing I would do is actually go ahead and put in what's supposed to be there. So this is going to be my notes and objectives. Number 2 is my reference pictures. And so on and so forth. And then what you'll see is within each part of the assignment, I've highlighted what you need to do. So number 1 for notes, over here, I am going to give myself, a big section to work in. So I'll just give myself some space. And it says draw or label each tool. Some of these are going to look a little different than what you get in a clay kit, but I want you to know what the actual tools are for ceramics. So the next thing I would do is start drawing and labeling my tools. So I would draw the rib or the metal scraper and go ahead and label that. Okay, I'm going to do that with all the tools in there until my notes area looks very similar to that vocabulary diagram. Number 2, we already actually wrote down the notes for score, slip, and seal, but I do want you to remember that's going to be one of the main points of this assignment. So you can put those keywords back down here just so I know you're thinking about score, slip, and seal as we are working on our project. Okay, so those are big keywords for the project. And then the next thing is adding in our objectives. So I do want to make sure you guys know exactly what we're aiming for on each project. So I gave myself a little bit more room. And here's our 2 different objectives. Number 1 is using Owen Mann's work as a reference. We're going to plan and create a set of 2 pinch flowers. And each of those pinch flowers need to have a different shape or petal style. And then finally, with every project, you need to have that good understanding of ceramics composition. Okay, so over here, you could paraphrase that just a little bit if you want to. We can write down objectives. You can make yours look nicer. I'm trying to go kind of quick here so you can get the idea. And we would have number 1, 2, and 3. And I would just write down those objectives right there. So they're right in front of me. I've digested that information and I know what I'm doing. All right, number 2 is reference pictures. So for your reference pictures, again, we're going to want to have some space here. I have given you a very nice example. So you have 4 pictures you're going to put into this reference area. 2 pictures, you need to Google Owen Mann, ceramics or flowers or floramics, and grab 2 pictures of his work that you think are really cool. So those are the first 2 pictures that are going to go in there. The second 2 pictures should be your own reference pictures for actual real flowers or succulents. And I've chosen succulents just because they're a little bit sturdier leaves. So I think for a first project, it's easier to do that versus something really delicate. So I found these really cool succulents that I think I'll use for a reference for my examples. So that's how my slide is going to look. So right here for your reference pictures, you should have 4 pictures. Okay, so just copy and paste them from Google. For number 3, you are going to, again, give yourself a lot of space. You have 2 options here. So whenever I'm asking you guys to sketch your ideas out, you can either do it on a piece of paper, which I prefer, and then take a picture of your paper and pop it into Notability. Or if you like to, you can draw, directly into this program here and start sketching out your flowers. Okay, so if you would rather just draw on your iPad, you can. To me, I don't like to do that, so I much rather draw on a piece of paper and then put the picture in for number 3. All right, after you've done your designs, I always have you guys check in with me. So that's going to be part of our class time, is having you guys show me your design ideas, kind of talking through those in small groups, which is what we'll do on Thursday and Friday, or Thursday and Monday, depending on classes. And then you get to work on your project. So I've also included in our Canvas course a video of getting started on your clay flowers. So if you're working without a live lesson to start out with, you're going to want to watch that video. And you can see the step-by-step process. Number 4 and number 5, these are going to go in here as you are working. So number 4, this is going to be your pictures and your process pictures of your assignment. So every time you're working on an assignment, you have to have process pictures along the way. Okay, so process pictures, you should have, I would say, probably at least 4, just to show me kind of step by step how you're putting your flower together, so I can really see that you're understanding the process and actually making your project. So your process pictures are going to go right there, and then your final project pictures are going to just go right underneath that. So you can see I need a lot of space here. So my final pictures would be in here. So these would be my big, lovely final pictures of my project. The last thing that's going to go in here is number 5, and this is the rubric. And for the rubric, I always put it into the Notability, into the PowerPoint presentation. And what you can do here is you can actually just take a screenshot of your rubric and then grab that screenshot, add it in here, and then you're actually going to fill it out just right here in Notability. So once you have your rubric screenshot and put in here, which is hard to do when I'm already on a split screen, it'll look something like this. Very nice, and you'll have these questions down at the bottom. So once you have that imported, then you can take a highlighter, and for example, for the craftsmanship, which is that top row, you might say, oh, I did a really good job on that, so I'm going to give myself a 4 or a 5. For my creativity, maybe not as good. Maybe I copied something I saw somewhere else, or maybe just didn't put my own spin on it. So it was good, but not perfect. So that could be down there. Your effort, production, how hard you worked on the project. Hopefully you work really hard and it's fantastic, so you can give yourself a 5. Okay, so you're self-reflecting on what you did. And then for every assignment, you are also going to have some reflection questions. So it's going to ask you what 2 different types of flower petals did you create. So you're going to do exactly what I asked. You can describe or draw them out down here. So maybe you're going to draw it out, little flower petals, and then you can do a written description here. Okay, so each of these questions should be answered in this area down below at the bottom of the rubric. So at the end of a project, all 5 components of this Notability journal are going to be filled in. It's going to look much nicer than this. You can take time to customize your background. You can type all this information in instead of writing it with your finger. So you have a lot of options for how to make this part look nice. And then you're going to turn that in as an assignment in the Canvas course. If you have any questions, as always, please email me and we will work together to help make sure that it's all answered.